Hi there, Chris here from YRG, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what do you do if you have a spot on a linear conveyor where you want to interact with the linear conveyor and an operator. So that presents some sort of a safety factor that you have to account for in your machine design. Now, linear conveyors can go pretty fast, like this one. But if we're trying to do something with an operator load, we're generally going to have like an opening like this and maybe a set of light curtains. So how do we safely do that with a Yamaha LCMR200 system? Let me show you. All of our LCMR200 modules feature dual power. So we have a color-coded connector here where the blue is the controller power, 48 volts DC, and the gray is the motor power, 48 volt DC. So what we can do here on a module would be like this section here, or maybe a larger section as shown here where the power comes into a 1 meter section. You can put a safety contactor like a K1, K2 to control the motor power and turn it off to disable the servo power. So let's say that we want to interact with that pallet there on station number 1. And so what I'm going to do is go into the PLC, into the AOI, and tell that pallet to stop there. And also what I need to do is actually turn the servos off while it's in that station. That station is considered station 1, and there is one AOI that controls everything about what's happening in station 1, including the ID of the pallet and its position that it needs to go to. Down here you'll notice that there's a pallet free bit and a back-end position, along with some statuses of what the pallet is doing. So in RS Logix, I've set up some bits here that we can kind of play with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to force that a pallet stop in that station by turning off this toggle bit here. And the next pallet that arrives will pause in station number 1. Now, when the pallet has arrived into that station, what we want to do is we're actually going to need to create some logic to turn the pallet free bit on. So we're going to turn that bit on right now. So here we can see that the pallet is paused there in station number 1. I'm going to go ahead and put my hand through the light curtain to break the light curtain. Okay? So we can see what's happened here as this module is actually controlled by our safety relay or our safety PLC under the machine. And because this pallet is off, we can now move this pallet back and forth in this station and interact with it. Okay? So I'm going to take this product off here and come out of the light curtain. And our safety relay turns the power back on, and then in the PLC we can turn the servo motor back on, and then if we want to we can actually put the pallet back in position. So let me show you that on the PLC side. So now that we're out of the light curtain, what we would do is we would actually turn the servo motors back on by turning the pallet free to a 0 state, and now the servos are back on for that pallet. And then if we wanted to, we could correct the position of the pallet by toggling this back in position bit. So we can turn it on, and the pallet moves back in position, and then we can turn it off. And then we could release the pallet now by turning this toggle bit on here if we want. My only word of caution on this is to make sure that your ladder logic is correct. You want to make sure that the power is off on the pallet before you break the light curtain. If you break the light curtain while the power is on, that's going to cause an entire machine fault, just like this. Now everything shuts down.